As of the past few weeks, I've become very interested in clouds and kind of how they work, so I wanted to build some of them in Minecraft and explain a little bit of the differences between them. They were really fun to build, and I don't know, it was a cool challenge to kind of try and build something that's not quite an organic, but also not a structure at all. But yeah, it was a good challenge, and I hope you enjoy it, so let's go through some of the clouds. So I've built a whole bunch of different clouds. These are mostly just the base kind of general clouds. There's a lot of other different ones, but I built 4 of the main ones and I wanted to explain a little bit about each one. So the first one here is the cumulus cloud, which is a very low atmosphere cloud. Well, not very low, but just a low atmosphere cloud. And cumulus means pile, or translate roughly to pile. And it's because it looks like a pile of, I don't know, like cotton balls or something. And that's what they look in the sky. Now, I really liked building this one. It had a lot of shading that I thought was really fun. And I think from afar, it does look really cool. And the reason why I'm saying it looks cool from afar and maybe not as much close up is because, you know, they're clouds. They're meant to be viewed from afar. So yeah, this one's the cumulus cloud and I really like the look of it. I used some of the cyan stained glass because it has like a really nice shading effect, especially with the different kind of color, and it kind of simulates like there's some moisture in the cloud, which, you know, there usually is. And also below here I used some light grey wool to kind of mimic some more shadowing, just to give it a little bit more of a natural look. And I really do love the look of this one. It looks so cool, it looks so funky. I made sure I went around the sides, but the backside isn't as detailed. It was hard to get a good look from behind because I've got the wall obviously behind it. The next cloud I have here is the cirrus cloud, which is a high atmosphere cloud, and it's formed by a bunch of kind of moisture getting into ice crystals because it's so high up in the atmosphere, which is why they're kind of spread out and very see-through. It's very it's meant to be very high up, very far in the atmosphere, and I think it looks really cool. Like, it's a bit of a spread out one. It was probably the easiest cloud to build, but I really do like the look of it. And the only issue is like the perspective of it. It's a little bit hard. It kind of clumps together when you look at it from this. So you kind of have to look at it from another angle, but that's okay. It still works the same. Now this one has a lot less shadowing because obviously it's not as piled together like the cumulus cloud over there. It's more spread out, more thinned out, I guess. But yeah, it's a very cool cloud nonetheless. The next cloud here is the stratus cloud, and it's a very low atmosphere cloud. If it gets super low to the atmosphere, it can turn into fog, which is, yeah, it's just a stratus cloud. This usually means that there's like rain, or it is raining currently, or the rain has just finished. It's just a big blanket cloud, and that's why there's a lot of shadowing on it, because that's usually very full of moisture. Now, it would have been better for me to use the cyan stained glass to kind of represent that, but it would blend too much with the blue background I've got here and you wouldn't really see it. Especially because Minecraft glass is kind of weird. It doesn't quite like stack up. It has the same kind of color even if no matter how many you put on top. So it doesn't have the stacking effect, so I can't really represent it as well. So I just used the light grey stained glass, which I think still worked quite well. But yeah, the only thing is these are usually a bit thicker than this thinness I've kind of put it at. But again, it's a bit strange to do it in Minecraft. Like it becomes a bit too thick and it looks a bit funky. So that's what we've got here. Now, I think the stratus cloud, it could be really cool to use if you wanted to make like a dark forest and you wanted to have a bit of a darker atmosphere, which you can't really do in Minecraft because, you know, the sky is all the exact same. But if you wanted to, you could kind of cover it in something like this, and it gives a little bit of a shadow and it makes the sky a little bit darker, because even looking underneath here, it feels a little bit, you know, lower to the ground, a bit more dreary, I guess. But yeah, it looks really, really, really cool and I love it. I've just realized what I usually do with these clouds is I have my borderless glass, so let's go chuck that on really quick. Yes, for some reason it times out my borderless glass like each time I open it, but you can see it looks a lot, you know, more smooth, and looking from underneath it looks a lot more smooth, like a cloud, than it does with the borders, of course, and the cumulus as well looks a lot better with the, oh my goodness, with the wrong button. With the borderless glass, like the shading works a little bit nicer. So yeah, the borderless glass is kind of needed for all of this because otherwise it looks a little bit funky. Still works, but you know, not as well. Now over here you've probably seen this massive type of cloud as we've been looking at the really tiny ones. I don't love the way that this one looks. It was really hard to kind of represent into Minecraft, especially block by block, but overall I really like it. This one is the cumulonimbus cloud, or that's what it's supposed to represent, and this is basically a storm cloud. That's what this cloud will bring. It'll bring storms, rain, just big things that, you know, I personally love, but other people may not like. It's got a bit of an anvil shape, bam, just like that. So you can kind of see how it goes in a little bit at the middle. I think the anvil needed to be a bit higher, but again, it's very hard to do that in Minecraft because there's a world limit and height. So I didn't want to make it too big because I want this to be like a possibility if people wanted to use this in the worlds. I did have to use some light blocks underneath because it's like really dark otherwise. But yeah, if people wanted to use this in the world, they can't really go too much higher than this because we've got a height limit for building and it will look a little bit funky otherwise because it'll be way too close to the ground. Now I did some more shading just like the cumulus over here with some of the cyan glass, but it's kind of more haphazardly placed because it was very hard to kind of build smoothly. Which I guess it doesn't need to, because again, looking at it from afar, it conveys what I want it to convey, which is, of course, you know, an anvil shape, a storm cloud. But yeah, I also textured it with a little bit of white concrete here and there, just to kind of give a little bit more smoothness. And then, of course, we've got some light grey wool to shade it a little bit more naturally. But yeah, that's the cumulonimbus cloud, which I've heard is a lot of people's favourites because it's so big and funky. It's probably one of my favorites, but just for the fact that, you know, rain. I like rain so much, so I'd love to see these clouds so much. I've seen a few of these in my town when we have some like the microburst storms. They're really cool to see. They're just, I don't know, it's like a massive water balloon popping. But yeah, that's a few different types of clouds that you can build in Minecraft because, you know, the Minecraft clouds are a little bit boring. They're not as, you know, diverse as they could be. So we've got a few of these designs which I think I really, really like, and I hope you guys do too. Again, I'm not an expert, I don't know everything about clouds, so if you are interested like I am, there's so many YouTube videos that you can watch and then so many, you know, different articles you can read about and research. it's very interesting to kind of learn. And, you know, if you learn clouds, you can look really cool in front of your friends and, you know, half predict the weather, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you enjoyed the clouds, and let me know if you would build these in your world, or if you do, and also like where would you put them, because I'm thinking of using one of the clouds in that map world that I am sorting out, which is the cumulonimbus. I wanna use that cloud over there, which I think would look really cool on like the coastlines or beaches. But yeah, let me know if you use any of them, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!